So let's talk about the crypto reserve, what just happened, because the market just seemed to tank right after the announcement came out. I'm recording this on Thursday evening, about 30 minutes after it came out, meaning Trump had just signed an executive order. David Sachs talked about it on X.com. I want to break it down and then tell you what I think is going on and why and whether or not it's a big deal. I'm Brian. This is Crypto for the Rest of Us. 6 days a week, big dumb animal. Don't do what I do. Please hit the like button. It helps me out. Also, if you're interested in classes on various things, if you're confused about crypto, how to buy it, how to move it around, whatever it may be, I have a school community below, and I'm going to put a link below if you're into crypto and you're also an affiliate and you want to put links out. School just added an affiliate program. So you can actually recommend my courses if you want. And if people come, you make an affiliate fee. If you know what that is, there's a link down below and I have a video explaining exactly how to do it. Now, first, I just wanted to make a little announcement. I have an account on X. It's at Longest. And one of the individuals I follow, Inca Trading, it's actually at Guatemala BTC, contacted me. Very nice individual. They've got great content on all sorts of things if you want to follow them. And I wanted to say thank you because they said, hey, someone just contacted me pretending to be you. In other words, someone was pretending to be me, contacting him, I don't know what, trying to steal some money or who knows what the plan was. The idea that someone thinks that impersonating me was going to help them in some way, that right there was mistake number one. Anyway, I don't reach out to people other than to say, hey, great post or good information or thanks for posting that, whatever. But I'm certainly not going to reach out to anybody and say, hey, send me money or whatever. So just be aware of that. All right. So exactly what happened here. This is, as you may have seen, just the President Trump signing the executive order establishing the strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. That's what people were talking about. So the individual, David Sachs, and if you're not familiar, David Sachs is the crypto czar, if you will. If you take a look at his X.com account, it's David Sachs 47. You can see it here. White House AI and crypto czar. So he's recommending things to the president. So here's what he said. Let's just break it down real quick. He said a few minutes ago, Trump signed executive order to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin owned by the federal government that was forfeited as part of criminal or civil asset forfeiture proceedings. And he wanted to point out, this means it will not cost taxpayers a dime. In other words, they didn't buy this. It was forfeited. Okay, there's a reserve. It's got Bitcoin, and it's currently only going to have what had been forfeited. All right. It's estimated they own, the government, U.S. government owns about 200,000 Bitcoin, but there hasn't been an audit. They're going to do an audit. Okay, next thing. The U.S. will not sell any Bitcoin deposited into the reserve. It will be kept as a store of value. The reserve is like a digital Fort Knox for the cryptocurrency, often called digital gold. Why did he point that out? He's basically saying, hey, the U.S. government holds gold. The U.S. government now holds digital gold. That makes sense. Let's continue. Premature sales of Bitcoin cost taxpayers over $17 billion in lost value, meaning, hey, they probably shouldn't have sold it. They did, and they lost some money in previous administrations. He said the secretaries of Treasury and Commerce are authorized to develop budget-neutral strategies for acquiring additional Bitcoin, so they may acquire more, provided that the strategies have no incremental cost for American taxpayers. Okay, now this is the second part. This is what everyone was speculating about with respect to different crypto. In addition, the executive order establishes a U.S. digital asset stockpile. That's what they're calling it. They put it in caps because that means that's what they're naming it. Consisting of digital assets other than Bitcoin that's been forfeited in criminal civil proceedings. So at the moment, it's going to start the digital asset stockpile. So they've got a Bitcoin reserve that's got the Bitcoin, digital asset stockpile, anything other than Bitcoin, currently only what may have been forfeited in criminal or civil proceedings. It says here, the government will not acquire additional assets for the stockpile beyond those obtained through forfeiture proceedings. Purpose of the stockpile is responsible stewardship of the government's digital assets under the Treasury Department. All right. President Trump promises to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. Those promises have been kept. It's very interesting how they say that. Now, I didn't expect them to buy crypto and put it in there. I'll tell you why in a second. But it's interesting the way they say this. They say, look, he promised to have a Bitcoin reserve. We're going to have one. We're just going to put in what we already had. And we promised to have a digital asset stockpile, and we're going to have one. We're just going to put in what we already had. Okay. This executive order underscores Trump's commitment to making crypto capital of the world. I want to thank the president for this, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I believe that this is very positive. One, we now have an administration, and I'm assuming going forward, we're going to keep this Bitcoin. And that means that they have said, okay, they validated Bitcoin as an asset being a store of value, and the government is going to now hold it, just like they do gold. And they spoke about it in the same sentence and even called it digital gold. I think that is hugely positive. I think a lot of people were wanting to see two things. One, that they were going to start buying a lot more Bitcoin. They may start buying more Bitcoin. They said they might. And two, that they were going to go out and buy all of these USA-made cryptos and start keeping them in the digital, what they call it, the digital asset stockpile, which they said they're not going to do at the moment. That doesn't surprise me. One, before this happened, the government has always held gold, and Bitcoin is digital gold. That was what I put in my little response here on my account. I said, look, Bitcoin's considered digital gold. The U.S. holds gold. They might as well hold Bitcoin. Makes sense. Now, when they said the government will not acquire additional assets for the stockpile, I think a lot of people got upset because they wanted to see them. They wanted to see them buy this and buy that and buy the other thing. However, think of this analogy. The U.S. government does not hold stocks. Gold is considered a commodity. They don't hold stocks. So if they don't hold stocks, why would they hold altcoins? Something other than digital gold. I didn't really think it made sense. And at the moment, they're only holding what they got in forfeiture. So I do think that this shows that the current admin is pro-crypto. They're talking about it. They're acknowledging it. They're holding it. And when it comes to Bitcoin, they're associating it to being on par with gold. And I really think this is just the beginning. So let's see where it goes. So what happened right after that? I was surprised. Because if you look at the total crypto market, this is all supposed to be all crypto, Bitcoin and all altcoins. It has bounced back, but it dropped about 200 billion immediately after he made that announcement. It had been moving up nicely, had a significant drop, and it's bounced back. This is a 1 hour chart. I want you to notice something. And that is that ever since this bottom here, which was just last week, it looks like, the on-balance volume has been going up with an upward trajectory. And this big drop on that bad news did not have a very significant drop in volume. If you're not familiar with on-balance volume, it essentially means this. You start at zero, and if stock, crypto, whatever it is, if it closes up for that day, you take the volume and you add it to zero. So if the price closed up, and you had 1 million shares of volume, you add it, so if zero goes to 1 million. If the price closes down for that day, then you're going to subtract it. And so in this case, what you will see is volume precedes price. The idea being, if it's moving up, or you believe it's going to move up, you want to see that there's more volume on those up days than on those down days. That's what it's trying to determine. So you like to see in this kind of a movement, lower low. This is just an hour chart, so it's really not that useful. But it is interesting to see that the volume's still on the uptrend. Again, it's Thursday evening, right after the announcement. First hour drop, second hour looks like it's coming back. We shall see tomorrow, Friday, what happens, because they're still going to have notes to come out of all the individuals that are meeting on March 7th, which is that crypto meeting. So I don't think this is a big deal. I didn't expect them to be buying much. And to be honest, what is the point of them buying some altcoins? It wasn't because it was going to make the market move, meaning they were going to buy so much that the market was going to start moving up. I didn't think they could were going to make a dent in buying that much crypto. So if the point wasn't to move the market on the purchasing of it, then the point would have been people wanted to see them buy it, because then they thought, well, if they're buying altcoins, then that shows that they're pro-crypto. Well, I think holding Bitcoin and establishing both of those, stockpile and the digital asset, whatever they called it, that just shows that they are crypto, a crypto-friendly admin, if you will. So I think the goal was achieved. Acknowledge it, create this group that's going to have more discussions, possibly buy more Bitcoin and hold the altcoins that they have. It's not a bad thing in my mind. I wouldn't be selling. Why do I think the price really dropped? Because I think a lot of people were doing the typical buy the rumor, sell the news, which is, hey, buy a whole bunch when you hear they're having this meeting, wait till the results of the meeting come out, and then sell the news, thinking there might be a quick bump. Well, the news came out Thursday night, not on Friday, regarding the Bitcoin reserve and the executive order. So I think it just kind of dropped. It was mainly those people that were taking that gamble that there might be a huge pump real quick. Anyway, that's it. I don't think it's a big deal. And I think it's positive, and I think we got out of it exactly what we should have expected to get out of it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Hope we all make generational wealth together with crypto. Bye.